If you look at Yu-Gi-Oh decks nowadays, you're bound to see decks with multiple archetypes in them. Decks like Runic Sprite, Super Heavy SWORDSOUL, Adventure Synchron, the list goes on. Truly, some decks are just made to go together, but not every deck. I'll be combining different archetypes to see what makes a deck good and what makes a deck not so good. This is the Yu-Gi-Oh Monster Mash! Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh Monster Mash. Last time we played Live Twin Sprite. It was my first time playing the deck and honestly, I loved it. It felt like I had an answer to most situations and it felt very consistent. However, this episode, I want to play a deck that I've played a lot before. Today we're playing TENYI SWORDSOUL. Now I know Super Heavy SWORDSOUL is in the intro, but if I'm being honest, I sold my Excel Stardust, so I can't play that version. Plus, Pack made a list for regular SWORDSOUL and I really want to try it out. I won't be showing the deck list because again, it's just Pack's list. So if you want to see it, I'll link his video in the description. The only real change I made was playing DD Crow over Bystials in the side deck. With this long intro out of the way, let's see how the deck did at locals. We're back at Easy Gaming once again, trying to test out a new SWORDSOUL list. Pack was on it last week in one of his videos, and I thought the video was very good. I liked his reasoning for playing Droplet a lot. Being able to dodge many of the targeting effects in this format, I think, is a very essential thing to do in a list. I'm very rusty with the deck though. Haven't played it since like April when Gamma was still there, so let's get right into it. Round 1, we're up against D, who was on Fire Kings. He won the die roll and went first. I don't quite know what full combo looks like for this deck, but he ended on a board of Garunix, Sanctuary, Island, and Arvada. My hand was really good, and I was able to play through Arvada, a pop with Kirin, a board wipe with Xyz Garunix, and I was able to establish a board of Yugioh plus Changing. But since I didn't know the matchup, I didn't know if swinging over the Xyz was the right play, so I just passed. This ended up not being the right play, unfortunately, and he broke my board. He didn't OTK me, but I couldn't play through the Xyz on my next turn and had to scoop. Game 2, I made a kind of awkward board of Chaofeng, Qixing Longwan, and Blackout. I really should have gone for Yugioh instead of the Chaofeng line because Qixing Longwan and Blackout was not enough interruption. He broke my board very easily and OTK'd me. Good games to D. Round 1, I kind of got bodied. It's okay. I haven't learned that deck yet. It literally came out today as of recording. Hopefully we can turn around, get some packs on the channel. But yeah, let's see how we do. Round 2, we were up against Juan on Labyrinth. I won the die roll and went first, and thankfully I opened a pretty good hand. I was able to go into Chaofeng before doing my full combo, and Juan was not happy about not being able to use Nibiru.
Just looks at a handful.
I established a board of Chaofeng, Qixing Longwan, Yugioh, Blackout, and 5 cards in hand. Juan tried to push through my board, but couldn't play through Yugioh. Game 2, he decided to go first. He normal summoned Arion and used her effect, pitching Welcome Labyrinth, but I impermed it. Sadly, the imperm turned on his Lady Labyrinth in hand, which special summoned itself. All he could really do here was set 1 card and pass. I draw and activate Lightning Storm, calling back row, which got rid of his Solemn Judgment, his only interruption. So when I normal summon Moye and use her effect, he just scoops.
Jake? Also dig it out of your ass.
Damn. I don't want to put that in the video.
Wow, that's so good.
Round 3, I played against Tobias, who was on Pearly. He won the die roll and went first, setting up a 7 material noir with 1 card in hand after drawing in my standby. I start off by using Emergence, which gets ashed. However, this guarantees my pot of desires to resolve. I didn't draw into Droplet, so I had to try to just combo off my Tenyis before committing my normal summon. I started with Ashuna and linked it off, and then I specialed Adhara. Tobias now activates his first noir effect to put my Ashuna in grave at the bottom of the deck. Luckily, I had a second copy of Ashuna in hand, and I used the second effect to special Vishuddha from deck. On summon, Tobias is forced to spin back Vishuddha. I link off Adhara for another copy of Monk, and special Shathana from hand. Shathana and Monk get leaked off for Shaman, and I attempt Battle Phase. At the start of the Battle Phase, Tobias spins back my Adhara in grave. With all of Noir's effects out of the way, I'm free to play the game. I swing Monk into the Pearly on field, and trigger Shaman to destroy the My Friend Pearly to get rid of Tobias's recursion. In main phase 2, I normal summon Taya and build a board, and Tobias scoops. Game 2, Tobias made me go first, and I actually bricked hard. He didn't, but I had bricked on hand traps, so the game went back and forth for about 7 turns until Tobias eventually took it. Game 3, I went full combo, starting with the Tenyis and going into Chaofeng to safely play around Nibiru. However, when I summoned Yugioh, I got impermed. This prevents me from getting to Blackout, but it's fine because I still drew 2 off of Moye and Qixing Longwan. I set 1 card and passed. Tobias starts off his turn by activating Dark Ruler no more, effectively getting rid of all of the disruption I had on field. He follows it up with pretty Memory, pitching Valor, and summoning Perlily from deck. Perlily adds my friend Pearly, and I draw Tobias on Resolution, severely limiting his options. Unfortunately, like an idiot, I did not play around with relinquished Anima, and Tobias is easily able to get rid of my Qixing Longwan. He activates a copy of Happy Memory, pitching Valor, and summoning another copy of Perlily. Using its second effect allows him to summon out Eat Pearly Happiness. He goes to battle and swings over my Yugioh with Anima, and crashes his happiness into Chao Fang. Doing this allows him to add back 2 of his quick plays, which he then sets and passes. I draw, and in draw phase, I use Heavenly Dragon Circle to add me Taya. From here, I start to combo off, and Tobias scoops. Good games to Tobias. For tonight's final round, we're up against Carl, who was on Rescue Ace. I won the die roll and went first, setting up a board of Chijiao, Barone, and 2 back row. Carl starts by summoning Fenrir, which adds another copy of itself. He follows it up with Airlifter, triggering its effect on summon, but I imperm it. Carl summons Diabellistar by discarding Droll, and uses her effect to set a Sinful Spoil spell from deck. He activates the Sinful Spoils, but I negate it with Barone, and on res he triggers Fenrir, forcing out my Chijiao negate. Carl summons Typhon over his Diabellistar, and on summon I'm forced to black out my Chijiao and his 2 monsters. He summons out Fenrir and passes, which looking back on it was illegal. It didn't matter much though, because on my turn I used Barone to bring back Moye, and while he used Fenrir here, I had Droplet, so I go full combo and OTK him. Game 2, Carl goes full combo, ending on 5 back row, Masquerena, Turbulence, and Hydrant. I'm able to play through pretty much everything in his engine, plus an imperm and draw phase negated his IP Masquerena. However, after I summon Barone, I get super polyed, and I decided to scoop it up from there to save time. Game 3, I'm able to set up the full board, but my Chijiao got impermed for the second match in the row. I set 2 cards and pass. Carl starts game 3 by yet again summoning Fenrir, searching another Fenrir, and then normaling Airlifter. I let Airlifter resolve, adding him a copy of Emergency. He then equips Durendal, and when he uses its effect, I chain Qixing Longwan to banish it and burn for 1200. This triggers his Fenrir on Resolution, once again forcing out my Chijiao effect. He activates Emergency, sending his Airlifter to summon Hydrant from deck. I really don't want Hydrant to resolve, so I activate Qixing Longwan to banish it, but Carl chains Alert and adds Turbulence anyways. He summons Diabellistar by sending Fenrir, and when he activates its effect, I chain Heavenly Dragon Circle, tributing my Chao Fang, and I chain Droplet, sending Circle to negate Diabellistar. I should have saved Droplet for Turbulence looking back on it. Turbulence hits the field and sets 4, and then he proceeds to beat over my Chijiao. After that, Carl ends his turn. In my standby, he activates Emergency, summoning and sending Preventer to grave, which allows it to summon back his banished Hydrant. On summon, I banish Hydrant with Qixing Longwan, unfortunately triggering his Turbulence to destroy Longwan. In main, I special add Hara and link it off for Monk. Carl gives me the okay to proceed, so I use Circle's Grave effect to search, Vishuddha to bounce back one of his back row, and Longwan to summon itself. On summon, he uses Alert to bring back Preventer, and Preventer books my Longwan. I normal summon Taya and Synchro into Chijiao, triggering both of their effects. Carl chains Extinguish to destroy my Chijiao, but I still get the search for Blackout. I use a Shuna's effect to summon Vishuddha from deck, and link it plus Monk off for Shaman. Shaman brings back my Qixing Longwan, and here's where I misplay. There's not much time on the clock, so I go for some damage. I swing Longwan over Diabellistar, not realizing that Preventer would be able to book me on my next turn. Knowing I screwed up, I set Blackout and pass. In Carl's draw phase, he books me, and on res I black out his 2 monsters, forgetting that Preventer would bring back Hydrant. He starts to combo off, but he only had 2 minutes to OTK me, and luckily for me, he wasn't able to finish his combo before time was called. I had every right to lose if I'm being honest, but good games to Carl nonetheless. Somehow, this ended up getting me a first place finish, and I actually pulled something crazy from my prize packs for once.
Hey, good deal. You must have read Dom's part of the What'd you pull?
I didn't even realize I was a CR at first.
What?
Centurion Legacia.
Yeah, which one's synchro? Oh, big synchro, nice.
That's so nice looking. It's not catching on the camera that well. I'm trying to get a good
CR, and it has
That is the first time I pulled a CR for getting first. That feels good.
Hello there. I'm pretty happy with how today went. Pulling this card was the highlight of my day. I love SWORDSOUL. I love playing the deck. I think it's very solid. Shout outs to Pack for making that list. I really like taking it out for a spin. I'll see you guys next time.